Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today's video presentation, I will be discussing a quick review of Lecture 1 and Lecture 2. So diniscuss ko yung Lecture 1 and Lecture 2, which is the basic concepts of statics of rigid bodies. Kumbaga, uh, yung topic kasi ng lecture 1, lecture 2 actually is pang physics 'yon, no? Yung pag-compute ng vector and yung scalar, under ng physics siya. Pero mas diniscuss ko siya in detail dito sa lecture 1 and lecture 2 ko kasi nga it is the foundation of the statics of rigid body, no? Kung marunong or yung konsepto ng pag-solve ng vector ay na-gets ninyo, madali na lang sa inyo para dun sa mga susunod na topic, which is yung sa equilibrium, statics of analysis of structure. So, yun. So, I do hope na dun sa lecture 1 and lecture 2 is naintindihan niyo siya. Pero as a quick review lang din, no, bago tayo mag-proceed sa topic na equilibrium, so i-discuss ko lang siya in a uh, quick basis lang. No? So, yun. As review concepts, na-discuss natin si scalar tsaka si vector quantity, which means na si scalar is yung magnitude only, then si vector is yung magnitude and direction. Then, we also discussed force na can be classified as a vector quantity which has magnitude and direction. So, si force is naka-classified siya as vector quantity. Then, we also discussed resultant of a force. So, si resultant of a force is a combination of all forces in a force system into one force with same effect as to all forces. Kumbaga si resultant is yung single force na equivalent dun sa group of forces na nasa nasa space, no, for system. Then we have here couple moment. Couple moment is two forces with same magnitude but in opposite direction. So na-discuss din natin na si couple is uh, yung two forces na kung saan with same magnitude but opposite in direction. Then we also discusses the application of a force and classification. So through forces can be applied by as a concentrated load, uniformly distributed load, and a varying load. Si concentrated is a single force, then si uniformly distributed is parang distribute siya all throughout dun sa structure natin. Then si varying naman is kumbaga parang pa-trapezoidal yung datingan ng loads, no? Then forces classified according to the line of action. So si concurrent force, si parallel force, and si non-concurrent force. Si concurrent force is yung force na kung saan is may single point lang na kumbaga pagkatagpuan. Si parallel force naman, from the word itself, ibig sabihin yung mga forces is parallel to each other. Then si non-concurrent force is the combination of the two, the concurrent and the parallel force. Then, as a review concepts, included pa rin to. So, na-discuss din natin si component of a force. Na-discuss ko sa inyo na si force, meron tayong vertical and horizontal component, no? Then, we also discuss principle of transmissibility, which means na yung force is pwede nating i-transfer into another location as long as dadaan siya dun sa line of action nung force na yon, no? Then si parallelogram law, so kumbaga itong forces na 'to at forces na 'to is kung gagawin nating isa, kailangan lang natin bumuo ng parallel dun sa kabilang force at parallel dito sa kabilang force, and the diagonal will be the resulting force na 'pag pinag-add natin yung dalawang ah, force or velocity na 'yan, no? Then we also discuss actions of mechanics. So yun, yung mga parallelogram law is papasok dun sa actions of mechanics, yung sa equilibrium, si actions and reactions, papasok dun sa actions of mechanics. Then, yung mga formulas na dapat nating matandaan is na-discuss na din natin siya dun sa scalar and vector or dun sa lecture 1 and lecture 2, no? Pero hindi siya masyadong na-emphasize kasi nga mabilisan lang yung gagawin natin na review dito. So we have here two-dimensional force system, si Rx, which is equivalent to the summation of forces along x direction. Then we have resultant y, which is equivalent to summation of all forces along y direction. Then the total resultant is equivalent to the square root of Rx squared plus Ry squared. Then to determine the angle of inclination of the resulting force or the resultant, So we have here tangent theta is equivalent to Ry all over Rx. So si rise over run lang po yan. Then moment is the summation of all moment at a point, no? Kumbaga, may given naman na point na kung saan i-moment yung mga forces, no? Para makuha natin yung resultant moment or yung kabuoang moment dun sa force system natin. Then, for the three-dimensional force system, same lang din siya ng formula, pero dinagdagan lang natin siya ng resultant sa z direction, so which is equivalent to the summation of forces along z direction. Then, for the resultant, idagdag lang din natin siya dun sa square root, which is rx squared plus ry squared plus rz squared. Then, for the moment, we have here three moment, no? Kasi three dimension siya, at a single point, meron tayong x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis dun sa point na yon. So, to moment the force, kailangan natin siya i-moment dun sa axis ng point na yon. No? We have here, moment at x-axis is equivalent to summation of moment x-axis. Then, my is summation of moment y. Then, mz is the summation of moment along z-axis. Then, the total moment will be the square root of mx squared plus my squared plus mz squared. Then, for, para mas maano din, is quick review lang din natin yung way ng pag-solve natin, no? So, dito, sa solution natin ngayon sa quick review, wala na tayong ilalagay na vector quantity or hindi na siya naka I, J, and K, no? So, kumbaga, tuloy-tuloy na tayo ng pag-solve kasi as doon sa statics of rigid body, hindi na rin masyadong nilalagay yung I, J, and K. Kasi si I, J, and K is just a representation of the direction of the force, no? Pero dito, hindi na natin siya ilalagay. Okay, so we have here problem number 1. Determine the component of each forces in concurrent force system as shown. So, si concurrent force, sabi ko kanina, concurrent force is yung force is nagmula sa single point lang. So, dito, we have here 100 pound, 400 pounds, 200 pounds, and 300 pounds, no? Okay, so to get the component, summation lang tayo, yung fx, fy ng force. So, let's say na ito ay si f1, f2, and f3, and f4. Okay, so solution tayo. For f1, which is equivalent to 100 pounds, so we can get the fx and fy. So, let's say 1 and 2 yung niya. So, pwede natin siyang kunin yung hypotenuse niya through square root of 1 squared plus 2 squared. Square root of 1 squared plus 2 squared. So, we have here square root of 5. So, we have here square root of 5. So, to get the component, fx, so, x-axis natin ito. So, kung ang fx natin, so 100 times yung x nito, which is 2, times 2 all over the square root of 5. Then, for fy, which is 100 times 1 all over the square root of 5. So, makukuha na natin agad yung value ng f1. So, we have here 100 times 2 over the square root of 5. We have here 89.44 pounds. So, fx, so ibig sabihin galing papaganito yung direction ng ano natin. Then, we have here fy, which is 100 times 1 all over the square root of 5. So, we have here 44.72 pounds. So, the direction, since going up, so pataas po yung fy natin. Okay? Then, for f2, which is equivalent kay 400 pounds, so fx ng f2 is equivalent kay 400. So, x natin is ito. So, cosine siya. Cosine 30. Then, fy for f2 is equivalent kay 400 sine 30. So, compute lang natin. 400 cosine 30 equals 346.41 pounds. So, si fx natin sa f2 natin is going to the right. Then we have here 400 sine 30, which is equivalent to 200 pounds. The direction will be downward. No? So, pababa siya. Okay? Then we have here f3, which is equivalent kay 200 pounds. So, we have here fx and fy. So, si fx is equivalent to 200. So, kung x natin is ito yung x-axis natin. So, ibig sabihin, ito yon. Tama. So, yan po ay lalabas na sine 45 degrees. Then, 200 cosine 45 will be our fy. So, lalabas, we have here 200 sine 45 is 141.42 pounds. So, fx natin is going to the left. Then, ito is pareho lang siya, 141.42 pounds going downward. Okay? So, actually, pwede siyang magkabaliktaran, no? Kasi, malamang, ang angle dito is 45 din siya. No? So, yan. Then, F4 tayo. We have here F4, which is equivalent to 300 pounds. So, lalabas, we have here Fx ng F4, ng 4 is equivalent to 300. So, ito, 300. Tapos, ito yung kinukuha natin. So, cosine po siya. Cosine 60 equals Fy is equivalent to 300 sine 60. So, compute lang natin. 300 cosine 60 is equivalent to 150 pounds. Going to the left ang fx ng f4. Then, we have here 300 sine 60, which is equivalent to 259.81 pounds going up. So, yan po yung component ng mga forces na nandyan sa system natin. So, sample problems lang yan ng concurrent components, no? So, let's proceed to another problem. I prepared 9 problems, no? 3 problems in each. Meron tayong concurrent na 3, non-concurrent at saka parallel na 3 problems. So, problem number 2 tayo. Determine the resultant of a concurrent force system and the location of the resultant force. So, ito. So, concurrent siya na force, concurrent force resultant tayo. Erasin ko lang tong ano. We have here this figure, no? Meron tayong forces na 3,000 pounds, 1,000 pounds, 3,000 pounds, 4,000 pounds at a vertical 2,000 pounds, no? So, pinapahanap si resultant force at saka yung direction ng force, no? Ng resultant. So, solution tayo. Solution number 2. We have here summation forces. Di ba si resultant is Fx is equivalent to Rx is equivalent to the summation of forces in x direction and Ry is the summation of forces along y direction. So same din ang gagawin natin dito. So we have here Rx is equivalent to summation of forces x direction, no? So si pag ganon is positive at si going to the left is negative tayo, no? Yan yung assumption natin. Okay? So we have here Rx. So, lahat muna tayo, puro pa right tayo. So, ito, si 3,000 pounds, which is going to the right, positive po siya. So, we have here equals 3,000 pounds. To get the fx of this 3,000 pounds, the component. So we have here cosine 30. Then ito at ito, no? So which is going to the left. So negative po tayo. So we have here negative 4,000 cosine 30 plus minus 3,000. Then kukunin ko yung hypotenuse nito. We have here 4 and 3 magic triangle. So square root of 5 po ata yan. Diba? Solve natin. 4 squared plus 3 squared 5. So we have here 5 na value. So lalabas the fx of this 3,000 pounds is 4 all over 5. So we have here 3,000 cosine 30 minus 4,000 cosine 30 minus 3,000 times 4 over 5. We have here negative 3266. So Rx natin is equivalent kay negative 3266.03 pounds. So the direction of this Rx will be going to the right. No? Pero syempre yung negative sign dito, yun na yung nag-indicate na na going to the right yung going to the left yung first fx natin, Rx pala natin. So pwede hindi na natin siya isulat. Pero isulat ko lang para at least ay no. Pero kapag sa solution, wag niyo na isusulat ito. Or either, wag niyo nang ilalagay ng negative basta may direction. Kasi kung may direction ka na ganito, so magiging na siya, opposing na yung nakakalito na siya. So we have here Ry, which is equivalent to summation of forces y. So up is positive tayo, down is negative tayo. So Ry is equivalent to yung up, which is 2,000 to. 2,000. Then another 4,000 plus 4,000 sine 30. Then yung mga going down, which is ito, at ito. Minus 1,000 minus 3,000 sine. Yung fy nito is sine 30 minus yung sine ulit nito, yung fy nito, which is equivalent to 3,000 multiplied by 3 over 5. So therefore, Ry is equivalent to, solve natin, 2,000 plus 4,000 sine 30 minus 1,000 minus 3,000 sine 30 minus 3,000 times 3 over 5. So we have here negative 300 pounds or equivalent to 300 pounds. The direction will be going downward kasi nga negative siya, no? So lalabas, meron tayong resultant force na kung ito ay going to the right na Rx, tapos may going to the downward tayo na Ry, so ito yung magiging resultant R natin, no? Ito. So to get the value of the angle and the resulting R, square root lang natin siya. So we have here R is equivalent to the square root of Rx squared plus Ry squared. So we have here R is equivalent to the square root of 3266.03 squared plus 300 squared. So we have here 3279.78 pounds. So yan po yung resultant force natin. Then to get the direction, yung angle natin, so tangent theta is equivalent to Ry all over Rx. So si theta is equivalent to arctan Ry, which is equivalent to 300 all over 3266.03. Theta is equivalent to, ingay maso, arctan all over 300 all over 3266.03. So we have here 5.20 25 degrees. Ibig sabihin, the direction of our resultant force will be nanditong point. Nandito. This will be our resultant. Yan po yung resultant value natin na kung saan ay may angle tayo na 5.25 degrees. No? So, hindi siya naka-protractor. Tansya ko lang yung angle. No? Okay. Next problem tayo. So, the eye bolt supports A4 forces as shown. If the net effect on the bolt is a direct pull of 3 kN in the x direction, determine the necessary values of T. So, ano daw yung value ng T? Ito. No? Kung ang resultant force will act on this x direction, which is 3 kN. So, pa-pull siya, pahila. So, ibig sabihin palayo dun sa ring. No? Okay, solve natin siya. Okay. So, we have here the resultant force. Ito. Resultant force natin, which is R, equivalent to 3 kN. Then, pinapahanap is yung angle, theta dito, at yung value ng T. No? So, solve tayo. So, we have here ito, unahin ko muna dito sa baba. So, solution. Number 3. So, we have here Rx is equivalent to summation of forces in x direction. So, Rx is equivalent to summation forces in x direction. So, ano yung mga nasa x direction natin? So, we have here ito, force na to, ito, at ito. No? So, the value of Rx will be 3 kN. So, pwede na natin siyang ilagay dito as Rx, which is 3 kN. Then, yung forces ng summation of forces x, ito, at ito na yan. No? Okay? So, we have here 3 kN is equivalent to T. So, to get the x-axis, x component yan, cosine 30 plus yung 2, ito. To get the x component nito, so we have angle here 30. So, pwede natin siyang sine 2 sine 30 degrees. Then ito, plus 1.2 cosine theta. So, since we have here t na unknown, and theta na unknown, so wala pa tayong masasolve dyan kasi we have single equation. So, we need to get another equation. So, 2 equations, 2 unknowns, solvable. So, kailangan pa natin na isang equation. So, pwede natin siyang kunin sa R, Y, which is equivalent to summation of forces in y direction. So, equation 1 natin ito. So, for Ry, so, assumption natin, up is positive and downward is negative tayo. Okay? So, we all know na walang Ry kasi nga the resultant is along x direction. So, 0 agad tong Ry natin dito. So, 0 is equivalent to summation of Fy. So, we have here going up to itong nasa taas. So, to get the y component, 2 cosine 30. Then ito, plus t sine Y component ng t, sine 30. Then ito, going down, minus 1.2 sine theta minus 1.8, which is ito. Okay? So we have here equation 1 and equation 2. No? So simplify lang natin yung equation 2 para pwede natin i-substitute natin ito in terms ng nandun sa taas. No? So let's say na t in terms of theta tayo. No? So ito ililipat ko sa kabila, ililipat ko sa kabila din to. So we have here t sine 30 equals, ito pag nilipat ko sa kabila, dun sa may equal sa kabilang equal signs, magiging positive na to at positive na din to, tama? So we have here 1.8 plus 1.2 sine theta minus ito, pag nilipat ko sa kabila, 2 cosine 30. Then we can rewrite again ulit ito into t is equivalent to itong 1.8 plus ito, pag samahin natin, so we have here 1.8 minus 2 cosine 30. So we have here 0.0679. 0.06795 plus 1.2 sine theta all over itong sine 30 dito. Sine 30. Okay? So we have here equation 2 and equation 1. So substitute the equation 2 to equation 1. So equation 2 to equation 1. So we have here equation 1, which is 3 equals to t cosine 30 plus 2 sine 30 plus 1.2 cosine theta. And we all know that the value of t is ito. Itong nandito. So, pwede natin siya isulat as 3 equals the value of t, which is 0.06795 plus 1.2 sine theta all over sine 30 multiplied by this cosine 30 plus 2 sine 30 plus 1.2 cosine theta. Okay? So, may equation tayo, tapos ang ano lang is yung theta, no? So, pwede natin yung i-shift solve sa calculator, no? Or kung gusto mo, i-simplify mo na lang kasi as far as I know, hindi na pwede yung shift solve sa calculator sa board exam, no? Pero dito sa video tutorial, shift solve lang natin siya para mabilis, no? So, we can get angle of theta, which is equivalent to 3 alpha equals the value of t, which is 0.06795 plus 1.2 sine alpha x all over sine 30 multiplied by cosine 30 plus 2 sine 30 plus 1.2 sine alpha x. So we have here the value of theta, which is equivalent to 21.655 degrees. Zero 0.6795. (1.2 sine theta all over sine 30). Wait lang. 3 times 0.06795 plus 1.2 sine alpha x all over sine 30 multiplied by cosine 30 plus 2 sine 30 plus 1.2 sine alpha x. Cosine alpha x pala to. Cosine alpha x. So we have here 21.655. So we have here angle theta, which is 21.655. Then to get the value of t, so substitute lang natin to dito sa equation 2. So we have here t is equivalent to 0.06975 plus 1.2 sine theta all over sine 30. And we all know that the value of theta is 21.655. So t is equivalent to 0.06975 plus 1.2 sine 21.655 all over sine 30. So we have here the value of t, which is equivalent to 1.025 kilonewton. Okay? So yan. Yan po yung sagot. Okay. So proceed naman tayo sa parallel force system naman tayo. Okay. So since parallel force, ibig sabihin, yung mga forces natin is naka-parallel to each other, no? So we have here problem number 4. A parallel force system acts on a lever shown in the figure. Determine the magnitude and position of the resultant. So in this given figure, we have here 30 pounds, 60 pounds, 20 pounds, and 40 pounds na nag-act dun sa lever natin. So pinapahanap po is the resultant force and the location of the resultant. No? So we have here this figure. So we have here 30 pounds going down, 60 pounds going down, 20 pounds going upward, and 40 pounds going downward. So to get the resultant force solution. To get the resultant, so sabihin natin siya ay y-axis, no? Nasa y-axis yung mga forces natin. So we have here R, which is equivalent to Ry, which is equivalent to summation of forces ng y direction. So equivalent yan sa going down is negative and going up is positive. So we have here resultant is equivalent to going down, which is negative 30, another going down plus negative 60, going up plus 20, and going down plus negative 40. Ibig sabihin, sa resultant is equivalent to negative 30 plus negative 60 plus 20 plus negative 40. So we have here negative 110 pounds, or the resultant is equivalent to 110 pounds going down. No? Okay, so to get the location, so kailangan muna natin mag-moment, no, in a specific point, tapos i-divide lang natin yung moment into the resultant force para makita natin yung direction or yung magnitude ng resultant na kung saan siya mag-act, no? So let's say mag-moment ako dito sa point na to. So let's say ito ay moment O, point O. So let's say moment at O is equivalent to clockwise is positive, counterclockwise is negative, no? So we have here clockwise, positive tayo. 30 multiplied by perpendicular distance, which is 2, plus, ikot ulit to, pag ganon, 60 multiplied by perpendicular distance, 2 plus 3, 5. Then ito, pag pupunta siya sa point O, pag ganon ang ikot niya, so minus 20 multiplied by 7, which is 2 plus 3 plus 2. Plus, clockwise ulit, 40 multiplied by the perpendicular distance, which is 5 plus 7, 11. So we have here moment at O equivalent to 30 times 2 plus 60 times 5 minus 20 times 7 plus 40 times 11. So we have here 660 pound foot na moment. Then to get the location, so we have here MO is equivalent to resultant force multiplied by x, which is yung perpendicular distance ng x, no? So we have here moment, which is equivalent kay 660 equals to r, which is 110 times yung x. So the value of x is equivalent to 6 feet. So si x is equivalent to 6 feet. Ibig sabihin yung location niya is 6 feet below the ground. Binaon na yung x. Okay? Joke lang. So dito siya. Kung ito ay 5, so in between this 60 and 20, no? So the resultant force will be up in this portion, resultant, no? Yan. Okay, so next problem ulit tayo, problem number 5. Bakit kasi laging hinahanap yung mga x, no? Pag sa mga problem sa math. Pero yun nga, wala tayong magagawa. Yun yung sa, para mas madaling ma-solve yung problem. So we have here truss. So locate the amount of and position of the resultant force of the load acting on the Fink truss as shown in the figure. So we have here this Fink truss. So may load tayo na 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, 300 pounds, 200 pounds, and 2,000 pounds. So pinapahanap si resultant force and yung location ng force na yon, no? So we have here this figure ulit. Okay, so we have here this Fink truss. So para ma-compute natin, yung resultant force R is equivalent kay going down is positive, going down is negative, and going up is positive. Going up is positive, going down is negative. So since going down naman siya lahat, so hindi na natin siya ilalagyan ng lalagyan ng sign. Lalagyan na lang siya natin ng direction at the end of the solution. So we have here 200 pounds plus 300 pounds ito, plus 400 pounds plus 300 pounds ito, plus 200 pounds na to, plus yung 2,000 na nandito. Okay, so we have here the resultant, which is equivalent to 200 plus 300 plus 400 plus 500 plus 2,000. So we have here 3,400 pounds going down. So the direction will be going down, no? So to get the value of yung position, yung point kung saan mag-act yung resultant natin, so we need to moment, no, at a certain point. So pwede tayong mag-moment sa gitna, dito, doon, no? Depende na lang yun sa inyo, no? Pero pwede dito ako mag-moment, no? Para the direction will be, kung ano yung makukuha nating value is diretso agad siya. Hindi na ako mag-minus-minus, no? So we have here moment at A is equivalent to, so since dito ko sabihin kong ito si A, ito si B, so kung mag-moment ako kay A, so si 200 pounds is pass through dun sa point A, so hindi na siya mag-moment. Therefore, ito yung gagalaw, no? So we have here 300 pounds. The direction will be itong nanditong part na to, tama? Itong perpendicular distance na to. So to get this perpendicular distance, so we have here this value of 10 tapos angle 30. So makukuha ko tong value na to, di ba? So to get this value, we have here ganito. Ito. So 90 degrees po siya. Tapos may angle akong 30. Hypotenuse yung 10 natin, di ba? So to get the value of this one, so cosine lang tayo. Cosine 30 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have here 10 cosine 30. So the value of this one is equivalent to 5 the square root of 3. No? Okay, so to get the distance, we have here 300 pounds. Ito, 300 pounds. To get this perpendicular distance, and again, magko-cosine ulit ako para makuha ko yung value. So we have here 5 the square root of 3 cosine 30 plus, puro siya clockwise, no? 2,000 times the perpendicular distance, which is 10, 10, plus yung 400. Since equilateral triangle to, so malamang sa gitna siya. So din sa 5 siya so may 5 dito, 5 din dito. Therefore, the perpendicular distance will be 15 times 15 plus 300 pounds. Itong 300 pounds na to, tama bang yung distance ko dito is yung distance dito? So, ibig sabihin, 30 minus to is itong distance na to, tama? So, multiplied by 30 minus 5 the square root of 3 cosine 30 degrees. Plus, yung 200 pounds na nandito, 200 pounds times 30. Okay? So, si MA is equivalent to 300 times 5 the square root of 3 cosine 30 plus 2,000 times 10 plus 400 times 15 plus 300 times 30 minus 5 the square root of 3 cosine 30 plus 200 times 30. Therefore, meron akong moment sa A which is equivalent to 41,000 pound-foot. Therefore, to locate the point of resultant, moment A is equivalent to resultant force times, again, yung perpendicular distance which is along x-axis. No? So, we have here 41,000 is equal to 3,400 x. Therefore, the value of x is equivalent to divided by 3,400. 12.06 feet. No? Ibig sabihin, from this point A, so magbibilang ka lang ng 12.06 feet. So, ibig sabihin ito ay 10. So, bandang dito, kasi ito 15 na to. So, 12.5 yun nandito. So, nandito siya sa ditong part. So, the resultant will act on this part. 3,400. No? Yan. Okay, example number 6 tayo. Last problem for parallel force system tayo. Okay, so find the value of B and F so that the four forces as shown in the figure produces an upward resultant of 300 pounds acting at 4 feet from the left end of the beam. Okay, so we have here this figure or this beam. So we have here 100 pounds, P, which is unknown, F, force, which is unknown also, and 200 pounds, which is given. Then the given also, the resultant force, which is 300 pounds going upward, acting 4 meters, 4 feet pala, 4 feet from the left of the I-beam. So ito. We have here 4 meters from 4 feet from the left, yung left support natin, left ng beam. So 4 meters from this point hanggang dito. 4 meters, 4 feet. Meron tayong resultant force na going upward, which is equivalent to 300 pounds. 300 pounds po yan, medyo malabo sa video. Okay, so to get the value of P and F, moment ka lang sa point P and mag-moment ka lang sa point F. So pag nag-moment ako sa point P, makukuha ko yung value ng F. Pag nag-moment naman ako sa F, makukuha ko yung value ni P, no? Okay, solve natin para ma-sure natin. So we all know that the moment at a certain point is equivalent to resultant times yung X, tama? So since kung mag-moment ako sa P, tama bang ang resultant moment ko is 300 times yung 1? Times 2 pala na natitirang distance na to. So solution number 6. So moment at P tayo. So we have here moment at P is equivalent kay summation of moment, tama? So moment at P ng resultant natin, kung dito yung P natin, tama bang tayo clockwise, counterclockwise, which is 300 multiplied by 2 equals itong mga forces na to, tama? So ito clockwise na ito papunta dito, we have here counterclockwise which is negative, then ito clockwise positive, counterclockwise negative. So we have here counterclockwise negative, counterclockwise din yung moment natin doon, negative din to. So negative 100 multiplied by perpendicular distance which is 2, then positive F punta doon sa P times perpendicular distance 3, ito minus 200 multiplied by 5. So F is equivalent to negative 300 times 2 equals minus 100 times 2 negative plus alpha x times 3 minus 200 times 5. So we have here 200 pound force na F, no? Ibig sabihin going down talaga siya. Kasi positive yung sagot natin. Okay? So let's moment at F, at point F. So at point F, dito na lang, at point F, we have here moment at F is equivalent to summation of moment ulit, no? So kung moment ako kay F, habang ito ay ang galaw niya ay clockwise, positive tayo. So we have here 300 multiplied by the perpendicular distance. So kung for agad to, so meron akong natitirang 1, tama? Multiplied by 1 equals clockwise positive, counterclockwise negative. So we have here ito, counterclockwise negative 200 times 2. Then yung P, clockwise tayo, plus P multiplied by 3, perpendicular distance. Counterclockwise minus 100 times perpendicular distance which is 5. So solve natin. 300 times 1 minus negative 200 times 2 plus alpha x times 3 minus 100 times 5. So we have here value of P is equivalent kay 400 pounds. Okay, so pwede rin namang once na nakuha mo yung F dito na 200, pwede ka na rin namang mag-summation forces y-axis tayo. So we have here resultant which is Ry, which is equivalent to summation of forces y. So we have here Ry which is going up na 300 pounds tayo, equivalent to forces na Fy. So we have here negative 100 going down, positive P going up, negative F which is equivalent to 200 to, then positive going up, positive 200. So ito ay mas 0 agad, tapos ito lilipat doon, 300 plus 100. So 400 is equivalent kay P. So pareho lang po yan, no? Okay, so let's proceed again to another problem. So last problem yan para kay parallel force system, no? So we have here a problem of non-concurrent force system. Okay, so determine the resultant force R and the moment about point A siguro yan, point A of the force shown in figure. Each square is 1 foot on a side. Okay? So we have here this figure. Uh, okay, principle of couple, sabi ko nga kanina, na-discuss naman natin yun, yung couple. Two forces with same magnitude but opposite in direction. So as you can see in the figure, we have here these two forces, 60 pounds and 60 pounds with same magnitude but opposite in direction. So we can consider this as a couple. Same goes with 100 pounds and this 100 pounds. So opposite in direction, so pwede natin siya i-convert into a couple. No? Sana all may couple. Okay? So itong 60 pounds, so convert natin into couple. So ito ay magiging clockwise couple moment. Then ito magiging counter clockwise couple moment. So ito, yung value nito is 60 times perpendicular distance which is 2. So lalabas ay 120 pound foot. Ito naman, so since ito ay 1 meter and ay 1 foot and 1 foot to get the value of this perpendicular distance, tama bang ito lang yon, yung hypotenuse nito. So to get the hypotenuse, we have here square root of 1 squared plus 1 squared. So we have here 100 multiplied by the square root of 2. So we have here 141. Or susunod ko lang 100 square root of 2. No? So equivalent siya sa 100 square root of 2. No? Okay, so to get the value of the resultant force, solution tayo. Solve muna natin yung Rx tsaka yung Ry, no? Solution. We have here Rx is equivalent to summation of forces in X. Forces in X. Okay. So yung forces in X natin is ito, component niya, x-axis. Ito, component nito, x-axis. No? So to get the component, so kung consider natin to, we have here 2, dalawang feet dito, 2, tapos ito ay 3. Therefore, the hypotenuse will be square root of 2 squared plus 3 squared. We have here square root of 13. No? Then ito, 1 and 2. So the hypotenuse is 2 squared plus 1 squared. We have here square root of 5. So para mas madali makuha yung x component tsaka y component niya. So fx going to the right is positive, going to the left is negative. So we have here 200 pounds multiplied by 3 all over the square root of 13 minus ito, yung component ito, tama? So we have here 100 pounds multiplied by 1 all over the square root of 5. Then we have here Ry is equivalent to summation of forces y component. So up is positive, down is negative tayo. So up, dito ko lagay yung assumption na para hindi tayo makalimot. Negative. Going to the right is positive. Dito ay up is positive, down is negative. So going up is yung 100 pounds. So positive tayo, 100 multiplied by 2 na component niya all over the square root of 5 minus 200 pounds times 2 all over the square root of 13. Okay? Solve natin siya. So we have here 200 times 3 all over the square root of 13 minus 100 times 1 all over the square root of 5. So we have here 120 . Check natin na. 203 tapos square root of 13. Then 101 square root of 5. Dito naman sa ry natin, yung y component, 100 to square root of 5, then 200 to the square root of 13. So we have here 121.69 pounds. Then for ry, we have here 100 times 2 all over the square root of 5 minus 200 times 2 all over the square root of 13. So we have here negative 21.50 pounds. Therefore, itong ry natin is going down kasi nga negative yung assumption natin pag downward. Ito positive tayo, so ibig sabihin pag ganon. So the resultant will be pag ganito at pag ganito, so resultant natin ay pag ganyan. No? Yung r. So to get the value of r is equivalent kay square root ni rx squared plus ry squared. So si r is equivalent kay square root ni 121.69 squared plus 21.50 squared. So we have here 123.57 pounds. Okay? Then to get the value of the moment at point A, so moment at A, so we have here clockwise, counterclockwise is negative, clockwise is positive tayo. So we have here clockwise which is 120, positive agad siya. So 120, then counterclockwise minus 100 the square root of 2. Then ito, plus, clockwise to, component nito is pag ganito at pag ganito. Ang moment ni is pag ganito at pag ganito. So clockwise, yun pareho. So we have here 200 times 2 all over the square root of 13 multiplied by perpendicular distance 2, ito, plus 200 multiplied by 3 all over the square root of 13, perpendicular distance na ay 3, plus ito, component nito ay pag ganyan. So, puro counterclockwise na. So, negative tayo. Negative 100 times 1 all over the square root of 5. So, multiplied by perpendicular distance which is 2. Plus, minus 100 multiplied by 2 all over the square root of 5 multiplied by perpendicular distance na 1. Okay? So, solve natin siya. So, we have here 120 minus 100 the square root of 2 plus 200 times 2 all over the square root of 13 multiplied by perpendicular distance na 2 plus 200 times 3 all over the square root of 13 times 3 minus 100 times 1 all over the square root of 5 multiplied by perpendicular distance na 2 minus 100 again multiplied by 2 all over the square root of 5 multiplied by perpendicular distance which is 1 equals. So we have here value of moment at A is equivalent kay 520.80 pound foot. Po yung sagot natin sa moment A. Okay? So ito po yung sagot natin. Okay, next problem tayo, problem number 8. So problem number 8. if the resultant of two forces and the couple M passes through point O, determine M. So, determine the value of M daw. No? Okay, so to get the value of M, mag-moment lang tayo dyan sa point O na yan, no? Dito. Dito sa point O na to. Dito. Dito. Okay? So, to solve solution number 8. Number 8. So, we have here moment at O is the summation of moment. Tama? Which also, yung moment dito is pareho lang naman yung nandito, no? Pag transfer natin. So, lalabas, we have here, ito, counterclockwise ulit to, negative moment tayo. So, negative M is, ito, plus, dito tayo mag-moment. So, we have here, plus 400, ito, 400 Newton. To get this value, we have here angle 30, nandito, at 150. So, pag inano natin siya, we have here cosine. Tama? Yung perpendicular distance na to. Cosine yan. So, we have here multiplied by 0.15 cosine 30 plus, again, ito, component nito is pag ganito at pag ganito. Tama? So, clockwise pa rin yung movement niya. So, we have here 320. So, para makuha natin yung vertical, yung y component ito, sine 60. Tapos, yung perpendicular distance niya ay ito. No? So, cosine tayo. So, we have here 0.3 cosine 30 plus 320 ulit. Itong component na to, cosine 60 times perpendicular distance. Yung perpendicular distance niya ito. So, to get this, sine tayo. So, we have here 0.3 sine 30. So, ito na yung value ni M. No? So, pwede kong i-transfer ito sa kabila para maging equals na lang siya. No? So, we have here 400 times 0.15 cosine 30 plus 320 sine 60 0.3 cosine 30 plus 320 cosine 60 times 0.3 sine 30. So we have here 147.96. M is equivalent kay 147.96 Newton meter. So this will be the value of moment, no? Moment M. Okay? Okay, last problem tayo para sa quick review. So we have here problem number 9. So the symmetric roof truss is of the type used when a near normal angle of incident of sunlight into the south-facing surface ABC is desirable for solar energy purposes. The five vertical loads represents the effect of the weight of the truss and supported roofing materials. The 400 Newton load represents the effect of the wind pressure. Determine the equivalent force coupled system at A. Also, compute the x-intercept of the line of action of the system resultant treated as a single force R. So, yan. So, we have here this truss. So, ito yung given truss. Sabi dun sa problem, itong point A, B, C is prone daw sa wind pressure, no? Kumbaga, sa sunlight. Kaya, parang igagawin siya as paglalagyan siya ng solar panel. So, ito. Then, yung given loads, which is ito, na vertical loads, is considered as the weight of the truss and the roofing materials. No? Then, pinapahanap po sa atin yung moment at point A and also the resulting couple force dito. So, we have here this parallel force and this one na kung saan ay magkakaroon kayo ng concurrent force dito. No? So, tinatawag siya na non-concurrent force kasi nga combination siya ng concurrent tsaka parallel force. No? So, from the given figure here, so solve natin siya. So, solution, to get the value of resultant force, so kunin ko muna yung value ni Rx and ni Ry. So, solution tayo. We have here Rx is equivalent to summation forces x direction, which is equivalent to, so kung x direction pinag-usapan natin, ito yon, tama? So, ito yung may component na x, pag ganyan, at pag ganito. Then, wala na. Tama? So, lalabas, fx natin is equivalent to, rx natin is equivalent kay 400. So, to get the value of this, so, tama bang tayo angle 30 din to? So, lalabas, 400 cosine 30 tayo. Then, to get the value of ry is the summation of forces along y direction. So, we have here, to lahat ng yan, 250 plus 500 plus 500 plus 500 plus 250 plus itong y component itong 400 dito. 400 sine 30. Therefore, si Rx is equivalent kay 400 cosine 30. So, we have here 346.41 Newton. Then for the Ry, value of Ry, we have here 250 plus 500 times 3 na lang kasi nga tatlo naman yung 500 dyan. Plus 250 plus the 400 sine 30. So we have here 2,200 Newton going down to. No? Ito is going to the right. So we have here R, which is equivalent to square root ni Rx squared plus Ry squared. Therefore, R is equivalent to 346.41 squared plus 2,200 squared. So, lalabas si R natin is 2,227.11 Newton. So, ito yung value ng resultant force natin. Then, to get the value of moment A, so mag-moment lang tayo dito sa point A na to. So, yung moment po dyan is internal load po yun ha. Nasa loob po yun ng A. No? Kasi kung dito sa later, papakita ko sa equilibrium. Kasi pag roller support, tsaka pin support, wala namang moment doon. Pero kung iaano natin dito, ba't mag-moment ka sa point A? No? May moment sa point A. So, yung sabi yung moment dyan is yung internal force lang na nag-act or internal moment. Pero hindi yun actually na nandun sa point A na yun. Kumbaga, nag-ano lang tayo ng point. No? Okay, to get the value of moment at A, so we have here summation moment at A is equivalent to yung 250, hindi na siya gagalaw, no? Kasi nga nag-pass through siya dito sa point line of action ng A. So we have here itong 500. Kung papansin mo, ito ay equilateral triangle. So we have here, nasa gitna siya, multiplied by 2.5 plus another, itong 500 times perpendicular distance, which is 5 plus 500 ulit times perpendicular distance. Tama bang ito'y kalahati ulit? So, mayroon akong 2.5. So, 5 plus 2.5, 7.5 plus 250 times perpendicular distance ito. Then, plus ito, sabi ko nga, principle of transmissibility, pwede natin i-transfer itong load into this line of action in this point. Then, nandito na yung 400 na Newton. Then, ito yung line of action niya, component. So, tama bang yung component na horizontal is nag-pass through yun dun sa point A? So, itong force na to is hindi na mag-moment. Ito na lang po ang mag-moment. No? So, ibig sabihin yung vertical component lang ng 400. Plus, 400, vertical component niya is sine 30, the perpendicular distance will be this 5. No? So we have here moment at A is equivalent to 500 times 2.5 plus 500 times 5 plus 500 times 7.5 plus 250 times 10 plus 400 sine 36 30 30 pala to sine 30 multiplied by perpendicular distance which is 5. So we have here 11,000 Newton meter. And to get the value of the point where the resultant force act or yung x-intercept niya, so moment at A is equivalent kay resultant times perpendicular distance which is x. No? So lalabas yung 11,000 divided by lang nito para makuha natin yung value ni x. So ito pala. Ito. Kasi Fy, no? So, yung Ry dito, x to. So, to get the moment A is equivalent kay R, x, ito naman ay y, no? Pero ang pinapahanap lang naman is yung x-intercept. So, yung sa may distance lang ng x na yun. So, we have here, this one will be 11,000 divided by 2,200 is equivalent to x. X is equivalent to 11,000 divide 2,200. So we have here 5 meters. Ibig sabihin, yung resultant po natin is mag-a-act sa gitna. Tatama siya dyan sa point na yan. Okay. So, may susunod pa ba tayo? Check natin. Okay. So, since 1 hour na po yung video ko, so ikakat po muna natin yung quick review natin, no? So, kung may mga problems tayo na nagka-error sa pag-solve, please let me know agad, no? Para ma-check agad natin, no? Pwede naman kayong mag-comment, no? Hindi naman tayo perfecto, no? Tao lang tayo na possible na magkamali din sa mga solutions natin dito sa video. Pero yun nga, open naman tayo na makorek ng ibang tao. So, kung may corrections dun sa mga videos, sa past videos ko pa, let me know kasi mas mabuti na na-correct natin, no? Mas mabuti na yun na ma-check natin agad. So, I do hope na dun sa quick review natin is na nagets nyo agad yung topic natin, no? Or yung quick review natin nung pag-compute ng component, pagbuhat ng resultant, pag-moment, no? So, next topic natin will be equilibrium. So, iba naman po yung approach, no? Kasi nga, forces will be equivalent to 0 yan, no? Kapag equilibrium. So, I do hope na yung video ko is nakakatulong para dun sa mga estudyante na nagtitik ng statics of rigid bodies, no? And I do hope na itong video na to nga is makatulong, no? Para sa inyo. Hindi kayo tinagalog lang siya kasi hindi naman ako marunong mag-English, no? So, kumbaga I do hope na may natutunan kayo sa akin, no? So, sana maging masigasig kayong mag-aral, lalo na ngayon pandemya, no? So I do na mag-ingat tayo lagi, magsuot tayo ng face mask, face shield, and kapag lalabas mag-alcohol, no? Mag-social distancing, no? So panatilihin nating malusog ang ating pangangatawan, no? So mag-aral lang tayo ng mag-aral hanggang sa maging engineer po tayo, no? So ingat po tayo.